Assalamu alaikum and welcome to An Nur the Light. I'm sure many of you are happy for this long weekend and will be taking it easy today. Muslim au pairs are a relatively new concept in South Africa, as more and more working parents are finding it difficult to balance their time. We went to find out what it takes to become an au pair and how they take care of the children in their charge.
Au pairs have been known as women from foreign countries who take on assisting a family with childcare and other household duties in exchange for board and lodging and a monetary allowance. The demand for such individuals is increasing in South Africa as moms make up a substantial part of the workforce, and with many young women looking for work, au pairs can now be sourced within our borders.
The reason we decided to get an au pair in is because my job requires me to be on the road a lot of the time. I work very odd hours, so I find myself coming home a lot later, which doesn't leave much time for homework, and then it's time to eat supper, and then it's time to go to bed. I needed the convenience of having someone see to my children during the day, so that when I do get home, their things, they are sorted out, and that would just basically leave me with the mom duties, if we can put it that way.
I started au pairing after I studied Montessori, so I decided to au pair, but I wanted to au pair for a Muslim family, and when I was in search and looking for a Muslim family, I couldn't find it. So I started au pairing for a non-Muslim family, and then I really enjoyed au pairing, and I au paired for about 3 years, of which after that I realized if I was a Muslim student looking for an au pair job, I couldn't find a Muslim family. So that became my motivation to start Muslim au pairs.
The need for Muslim au pairs has increased with both parents being required to work in our present day. Families feel more secure knowing that their children are looked after by someone who understands the Islamic lifestyle. Amira Kara decided to start a company that would cater to these parents.
I started off just doing extensive research on a recruitment agency, specifically in the childcare industry. I also contacted 2 other agencies which I've previously went to looking for employment, and they were great at helping me and telling me, okay, this is what you need to look for, this is what you need to do. So we basically set up registration forms and contract of employment, as well as contracts between myself and the au pair and myself and the clients. And from there we started operating and we started getting clients, and it was just a natural flow from there onwards.
I didn't have the time to take my kids to madrasa after school. We then decided to get an au pair because as a family we've acknowledged that secular education as well as an Islamic education is of equal importance. And what we found was that we sort of put the Islamic education by the wayside, and that was the most important thing for us. Also because of the area we stay in, there isn't a madrasa close by, so we've needed to find something that's not too far away from home. We struggled for a long time to find an au pair that meets the needs and requirements that we specifically wanted. I then actually just chanced it and I Googled Muslim au pairs, and that's how I stumbled across Muslima au pairs. I then got in touch with them, and almost immediately I was sent an email with forms to complete and my requirements as well. Within less than 3 days, Amira got back to me with candidates, and I interviewed them. I had arranged interviews of about 3 candidates, and 2 of them were successful, and then I needed to make a choice.
Since becoming a mother, Amira has realized the need for her child to have the best care possible. Her stringent vetting process involves ensuring candidates are suitable to the home and prepared for the special job of taking care of children.
Now that I'm a mother myself, for me to have a reliable candidate look after my child is very important. I take it seriously in the sense that they need to perform the duties the way I have indicated and not just take it at face value. They need to take their job seriously. So it's not just, okay, I'm looking forward to the end of payday. They need to say, okay, you know what, I'm here for the long run. So how we vet our candidates is before we call them in for an interview, a one-on-one interview, we scrutinize their CV and all their qualifications which they've sent through. They also have to meet our minimum requirements, which is they need to have a minimum of 1 year formal childcare experience. They need to have at least a childcare certificate or trainings or even working with children, and as well as a valid ID. And for an au pair, they need to have a safe, reliable vehicle. So if they meet the minimum requirements, we then call them in for an interview, after which they fill out an application form. We go through the application form as well and then question anything which we find rings any bells of concern for us, and then we do a criminal record check.
Returning to work after having a baby is not easy for any mother, but options are no longer limited to family support, daycares and babysitters. Au pairs seem to be making this process a whole lot easier, and now Muslim moms too can be at peace, knowing their little gems are in good hands.
There you go for our busy moms and dads, a Muslim alternative to the au pair industry. Up next is our Western Cape street style.
Style to me is basically my mood. I feel like it expresses who I am on a certain day and a certain time. My style differs from day to day, from hour to hour. I like a more minimalistic way of dressing, so I tend to go for something that's very easy and convenient for myself. I choose what I want to wear according to what is compliant to Islam. Dressing Islamically doesn't have to be boring and mundane. I try and make it a bit more modern for my age and the Western country that we're living in. The necklace was a birthday present last month from my sister-in-law, and I love this outfit. It makes me happy.
I have two different types of style. One is this very like semi-formal, casual look. I wear a lot of loafers, a lot of boat shoes. I feel comfortable in them. I don't like to conform to these formal shoes. My jeans, I go for very light shades of denim often. So I feel like it goes well with my skin tone. It's a really nice cut, a little bit of rips here and there. I like the rip look because it's just normal straight-cut jeans that don't work for me. It just epitomizes the concepts behind the 5 pillars of Islam. So the shirt at the moment says, it's Arabic writing, but it stands for hope. The shirt, it's just nice to go over a t-shirt, leave it open. It's a lot more casual. And the shirt does add a little bit of a formal look to your thing, but leaving it open just keeps it.
Style to me is your own sense of uniqueness in the way in which you dress or you carry yourself. My style is very simplistic. I like neutral colors and neutral clothes. Islam influences my style in the sense that it's modest, yet still modern. I love coats, and I've probably got like a few coats in more or less the same shade. And I think it just finishes off the outfit and makes it look classy and stylish. I think I chose a few accessories because it ties in with my style, so I like really simple things. This is a Pandora bracelet, and I'm wearing a ring with a pearl on it. It was a gift from a friend of mine, and I chose to wear this because it's me. It depicts who I am.
Now, if there's anyone who knows something about style, it's our next story. Roshan Isaacs is our very own style guru and represents South Africa at the Islam, Fashion and Design Council.
Muslim fashion has become big business as a greater consciousness and awareness in the modest wear comes about. The South African Muslim community can say with pride how often they have not only been in vogue, but also set the trends. One person in particular who has been pushing hard to have South African Muslim fashion recognized is Roshan Isaacs.
Media and fashion is a passion of mine. I grew up in the fashion industry with my father being a fashion designer, so it was second nature to me. What I did is I combined marketing, media, and the fashion industry, but more so to develop, support, and promote the South African fashion industry. So what I do for Style Africa is I promote the broader network of South African fashion designers and artisans. And from the Islamic Fashion and Design Council, it's more, we're the leaders in the modest fashion industry, which, if you've seen, has been a growing industry. A lot of our hijabis and our Muslim fashionistas have made a huge explosion in that industry. And it's not so much about, you know, look at me, look what I'm wearing, I'm a stylish fashionista. It's very different to the mainstream. It's more about, this is my lifestyle, this is who I am, and I can look stylish at the same time.
Roshan Isaacs is a woman who has been places and, from what it looks like, is not letting up. She had a successful career in the corporate world as a station manager of a national TV channel, where she ran the proverbial ship.
From the moment I met her, she has this open face, which I immediately was taken to, and I could speak to her. She was just approachable, and her smile lit up the room. She made me feel comfortable. She made me feel like I could say anything to her and I could ask her anything and tell her anything. I think that's why I got the job. That's one of her characters or her skills that I love.
After leaving the corporate world to take care of her children, Roshan soon found that she had time on her hands and very quickly reorganized her life and immersed herself in the world of fashion. In 2015, Roshan was chosen to be the South African manager for the Islamic Fashion and Design Council. Based in 5 different countries across the globe, the IFDC are the international leaders of modest fashion, seeking to enable the worldwide success of Islamic fashion and design.
I got to work before Roshan, and the minute she steps into the office, it was almost like, ooh, what you gonna wear today? Whether it was cold outside or sunny, you just know she's gonna bring it. So the minute she stepped into the office, from reception all the way up to, we were on 4th floor, she would get comments on how she looks until she gets into the office, and we would be like, whoa, you look amazing. Or just from the shoe to the earring to the makeup to the tea.
I represent South African modest wear designers, whether they come from an Islamic background or whether they come from a different faith or culture. Modest fashion is not only Islamic. Yes, the Islamic Fashion Design Council are leading the process, but it's really about bringing the modest fashion, the elegance of fashion back into to view. It's more about creating those opportunities for our designers in South Africa to meet up with our design industries in Russia, in Turkey, in Indonesia, and all those opportunities are available. And it's about creating that network of global designers where I am now able to put our South African designers on that same platform.
Roshan believes in the beauty of humility, originality, and sincerity, and sees her past mentors as vital to her success. It is for this reason that she established Drawn to It, a company empowering South African youth with leadership skills and career advice. Roshan believes that developing and guiding others inspires her to do more.
So what Drawn to It does for young people is I sit with students who are in grade 10 to 12 who are at the brink of deciding what they'd like to do when they grow up as a career. And what I do is I use the Drawn to It model and find what it is they're passionate about. Sometimes we don't all know, or we have 101 things we want to be one day, but what is it that most inspires us? So we look at subjects that they're studying, we look at sports, we look at things that they're reading, and finding out where do you see yourself in 10 or 20 years? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have?
Roshan may no longer be working in the corporate world, but her focus and drive remain. Every free moment is meticulously planned, and these days she also presents a radio show on a popular Muslim community radio station.
I proposed to Voice of the Cape a program called Cover Mode. So the idea of Cover Mode was to introduce who your Muslimah is, and that it's not the person who only sits at home. It's your madrasa teacher who teaches a bigger community. So it was to, one, introduce positive Muslimas, and then the second was to introduce our design industry and people who make clothing from their houses, who sell in their small business entities, and get them a bit of exposure as well, so more and more people can be made aware of what they do. And yeah, that's what Cover Mode is all about, just another opportunity to market our local design industry.
Roshan's success has not been without challenges, but from her perspective, trial and error are necessary components for success. In 2011, Roshan received a nomination for South Africa's Most Influential Women in Business Award, a very fitting title for someone living their dreams and inspiring others along the way. There's no limit to what one can achieve unless you limit yourself, a personal motto media maven Roshan Isaacs lives by.
What a busy woman. She's definitely someone I'd like to spend a few minutes with just to pick her brain. Next up is our books, tech and app segment.
A Life of Social Justice is the commemorative biography of Dr. Rashid Ahmad Mahmoud Saluji, authored by historian and struggle stalwart Harun Aziz, chronicling the social, medical and political activism of the remarkable Dr. Saluji over a 50-year period. The biography is an inspirational read for all South Africans. The Sensu Artist Brush and Stylus is the latest must-have gizmo for artists, made up of two parts, a brush and a stylus, giving users the ability to digitally express their creativity, with metallic particles embedded in its bristles, making it conducive to use on touchscreen devices like iPads, iPhones and more. Lil Muslim 2 Kids Dua game is the latest interactive Android technology from the Lil Muslim app series, designed to teach little ones the significant daily du'as. Featuring MP3 audios, puzzles and cute characters, the Lil Muslim Kids Dua app will keep your children glued to the screen for hours of learning.
Standing by in the kitchen is Lamise du Toit with a yummy Cape Malay dish, which is just perfect for the upcoming winter.
Today I'm going to be showing you my take on the humble kebab. It's got its origins deep set in Turkey, known as a kofta. But as food sources travel across the world, every culture and creed has its own take on it. Cape Malays love the frikadel, and that's done with fresh tomatoes and coriander. But today I'm doing a Malay take on the spicy kebab that essentially comes from India, but with sweet and sour onions. And to make that, you need the following ingredients. It's 500 grams of topside mince. I've got 2 slices of stale white bread that I've soaked in water and then drained the moisture. I've got 2 medium-sized onions, finely chopped. I've got some sunflower oil for frying. I've got 1 egg for binding. I've got a tablespoon of ginger, a tablespoon of garlic. I've got a half a cup of freshly cut coriander. I've got a teaspoon of chili flakes. I've got a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. I've got a heaped teaspoon of fennel, also known as fine barishap. I've got a heaped teaspoon of chili powder, and I've got a heaped teaspoon of whole jeera seeds or cumin seeds, and I've got salt to taste. And then for the topping that makes this kebab traditionally Malay is the onions, which is 1 medium onion, halved and then sliced. I've got 60 ml of vinegar and 60 ml of brown sugar to make it sweet and sour. So to start, the first thing I'm going to do is heat up my pan. So in my pan goes my whole jeera seeds. And then I'm typically going to fry just until you start to smell it. I'm now going to add some sunflower oil. And this is just to fry off onions. So this I'm going to braise, as I typically do, with just a pinch of salt to get all of that moisture out of my onions. So my onions and my cumin seeds are nicely soft and braised. Now I'm going to start adding my spices. Now putting in my chili powder, my fennel, And there's nothing nicer than the smell of spices in a dry pan. Nutmeg. And the nutmeg is what gives it that Malaysian twist. A sprinkling of crushed chili. And I'm going to give this a quick braise. And then I'm going to turn the pan off. So while the onions is cooling in the pan, I'm going to start with my mince. So it's 500 grams of topside mince. The 2 slices of bread. The egg to bind. Garlic and ginger paste. A half a cup of fresh coriander. So all you've got to do is make sure that you blend all of this well. And when this is done, we're going to add the cooled onions. And all that we have left to do is to fry. As a kid, I can remember these being served at a wedding on a chicken platter, but they were ice cold. Not exactly my favorite way of having them. My mother prefers to make them slightly longer in a kofta shape with egg in the middle, also with the sweet and sour onions. So in goes my onions. This gets a thorough mix. And then we start rolling the balls. This is mixed well enough, or as amalgamated as it's going to get for this point. I'm going to give my hands a quick rinse, get some oil ready, so that we can roll them nicely. So now that my hands are clean and I'm ready to start rolling the kebabs, the first thing I'm going to do is swap my pots. I'm not going to clean this pan because I'm going to be using all of this residue when I make my sweet and sour onions. So I'm going to start by heating up my pan and getting some oil. And that's literally just to fry the kebabs. And the rest of it I'll be using for my hands. I like to make them in about tablespoon sizes. And we start frying. Now, there's lots of variations that you can do on a kebab. Another nice addition, I've added the nutmeg, which is a tip that I learned from my sister's mother-in-law, actually. So I'm going to give this time to brown nicely on the one side, so to get a nice crust around the kebab with a soft, spicy inside. The oil on this side is warm, so I'm going to start by braising my onions. So in go my half-sliced onion rings, and as usual, when I braise any kind of onion, a sprinkling of salt just to make sure that they caramelize nicely. And this is how we multitask. So my kebabs are done. And from the corner of my eye, I can see that my onions now need some salt, sugar, and a splash of vinegar. Oh, the sweetness. And there you have it. Delicious caramelized onions, sweet and sour, over lip-smacking Cape-style kebabs. And there's nothing left to do but shove them in your face and absolutely enjoy.
I hope Lamise include that recipe in her cookbook because I heard it was lip-smacking good. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and tell your family and friends to do the same. This week's episode will be uploaded on YouTube in the next minutes, so be sure to check it out. From me, Maria Mukwanda, Salang Hantle. Assalamu alaikum.